Well, what do you think about the riots that are happening over all the ICE deportations? Like we're in LA right now, and downtown was a mess for the
I
last few
think it's
weeks.
crazy that they deporting the people the way they doing. Um, I mean, we as Americans, we need the illegals to do the work that they do. You know, I'm glad that they over here picking the fruits and the vegetables and uh, trimming the weed and doing all the stuff that we Americans don't want to do. You know, I'm not going out picking no strawberries,
Hmm.
no grapes. So I think that it's crazy for us to throw them out the country. I think it's going to cost us in the long run major. Um, I was listening to the radio and they were saying that they attribute something like $3 trillion to our economy.
$3 trillion.
$3 trillion.
Well, do you think that the Trump stance to the border and the immigration will actually decrease drug trafficking?
They can't stop drugs from coming into this country.
No.
I mean, we can't stop drugs from getting into our maximum security penitentiary. So how can we stop it from coming into the country? That's nonsense.
Hmm.
Um, and I explained this to people before, and what I find out happens is when you crack down on drugs, what you do is you make the price go up, and when the price go up, people who normally may not be willing to take that chance, when the money is right, then they're willing to take that chance. So in actuality, what you do is when you drive the price up, you invite more people to get involved.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, but you're also decreasing the ability for people to get weight, right? The
Well,
price is going up because people are getting busted, and then your plug ends up going to prison, or he just disappears, and then suddenly you don't have a plug anymore. So,
right, but then somebody else gonna become that plug.
hmm.
I had a saying, right? And I consider myself a thinker. You know, I like to sit down and look at situations. And I was saying that if you had a magic wand right today, and you could take all of the drug dealers out the equation, the drug users are gonna create a new drug dealer.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're gonna
Man,
create
yeah,
another one,
people want to get high. Let's just keep it 100. People like to get high,
and they're gonna get
and
high.
they're gonna get high. They'll
They're gonna
figure
fig-
out something.
they're gonna figure out a way to get their dope. So it's not a situation where you can incarcerate, you can lock up. You know, that's not the way that you handle it.
I mean, look, like I interviewed Aaron Carter, who used to be like a platinum selling, teenage pop star. And near the time of his death, I did his last interview. I mean, he was huffing. He was taking like aerosol cans and inhaling them,
Hmm.
which would just completely destroy your lungs in the process. He ended up ultimately overdosing and dying. I think he ended up drowning in his bathtub. But yeah, you take away the cocaine and everything else like that, people figure out something to get high off of.
And they're gonna get cocaine. They're gonna get cocaine over here.
They'll get cocaine anyways.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get cocaine over here. Somebody gonna buy it. I mean, when you're talking about the number gets so big, then somebody gonna say, "Oh man, I can get it in there. You know, I got a ship, I got an airplane. You know, it's impossible to fight a substance. You know,
Yeah, I mean, look, I've gotten offered cocaine maybe like twice in the last year. It's always just been like, damn, like you don't even know me like that. Like, what I mean? Well, you know who I am, so I guess they feel comfortable because I'm a public figure. I'm not just some random, but I mean, like some of the people that have offered me, like, yo, you do know there's fentanyl mixed in with this shit out here. Like, this is dangerous. Like, but people are still sniffing as if it just is what it is.
yeah, they're gonna get high.
Yeah, I mean, I've never touched cocaine. I've always said this. I've never touched it. I had a friend overdose and die at 23. I said, that's enough of a warning for me that if this is the worst case situation, I'll
You ain't
just
missed
stick.
nothing. You ain't missed
No,
nothing.
I don't think I missed anything. I probably saved a lot of money,
Yeah.
you know? But I don't know. I just feel like with the ICE thing, I know that the rest are being done, with heavy hands. But at the end of the day, if you know you're not here legally, like I'm an immigrant. I came over here legally. I got a U.S. citizenship. I can't get deported, right? But if you're over here, illegally, and you know you're illegal, even if it's been 20 years, how can you get angry just because you get caught at this point?
Well, I guess they feel like they're part of the community. I feel like they're part of the community, and I feel like they have just, I don't know. I'm an equal opportunist. Like who can dictate who can go on the land? This is everybody's land. So for them to say that they can't come over, and this used to be Mexico anyway.
Right. But it's not anymore.
Yeah, well, they took it with the guns.
Right. No, exactly. Now, listen, but I guess it's like one of those things where it's like, if I don't pay taxes for 20 years and then suddenly I get a huge tax bill, what am I going to do? Blow up the IRS? Like, because I got caught for not paying taxes? Like,
go to jail.
I go to jail. I get extra jail time for blowing up the IRS.
Absolutely.
So it's like these guys are attacking the ICE offices and fighting police and everything else like that.
But I think that's the legal ones doing that. That ain't the illegals.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's the illegals. I think it's the community, because you get attached to people, like you get attached to them, and you be
don't
like,
deport my gardener. Don't deport my nanny.
Leave my nanny alone.
Yeah, leave my nanny alone.
Now I don't mind you deporting everybody else, but not mine.
Not my nanny. Well, I think the reality is that, some people are fighting and acting out, but I think the majority of America feels like, well, it just is what it is. Like, we've been relatively soft on allowing illegal immigrants to stay here year after year. And they pay taxes, but they also use government resources. They go to public schools and everything else like that. And ultimately, look, if you do not have a legal citizenship here, go to any other country and try to pull this shit. Go to Saudi Arabia.
I went to London. They locked me up at the border.
Really?
Yeah, I went to London, when was that, January something? Middle of January, and they just changed a new law where convicted felons can't come in. So I went straight off the airplane and straight into the immigration custody.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did you stay there before they let you out?
Just one day, and they put me on the next morning. They put
next
me
plane
on
back. So you wasted your whole trip, basically.
Yeah, like 14 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't pass go. But we need the immigrants, man. We need them over here, man.
Right, but here's the thing: you can come over here legally. You can get work visas. You can get permits. Like, for example, like my friend Napoleon from the Outlaws. He lives in Saudi Arabia. He has actual physical businesses in Saudi Arabia. He has like a restaurant, a coffee shop. So I'm talking to him in our last interview. I'm like, okay, so he's got a family there. He's got, I think, multiple wives, a bunch of kids, so forth. He's got a home, car, etc. I'm like, okay, so you're a citizen of Saudi Arabia now. He goes, oh, no. I've never been granted citizenship. I said, really? He said, no. He said, I get a work permit, which I then have to, renew. But he said that, Saudi Arabia is kind of a welfare state, right? They have a lot of money and they really take care of their citizens. They give them a lot of pension and everything else like that. So a lot of people want to move to Saudi Arabia so they can get those benefits. So Saudi just doesn't let anyone. Yeah, like if you're a professor, or like if you own a big corporation, or something where they feel like, okay, this
you're
person
gonna benefit the country.
You're gonna benefit the country, but owning a couple stores, they're like, whatever, who cares? So look, this guy who's been contributing cannot get a citizenship in Saudi Arabia, but yet people are complaining that they've been illegally. You think he can illegally stay in Saudi Arabia for 10 years without renewing his permit? They'll lock him up.
For sure.
And send him back wherever the hell he came from.
But we need them, though. We need them.
Yeah. I feel you, man. I'm not.
Food prices going to go through the roof.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
We ain't going to be the land of plenty.
Yeah.
Because the farmers ain't going to farm no more.
Right. You're going to have $10 strawberries, $5 potatoes.
Man.
Yeah.